Hello, this is Yeshua Said My Name. I wanted to discuss something with you. It's rather a heavy topic, but I think people are dealing with this in their hearts. I know I did in the past, and so I wanted to share this topic with you, and I think it's relevant for a lot of us right now. In John chapter 10:10, Jesus said, "I came that you would have life and you would have it to the full." I know that I went through periods of my life where I tried to find satisfaction and fulfillment in my job, my paycheck, my marriage, my children, and even though these things were all blessings to me, I found that at the end of the day, even if nothing was wrong in my life at the time, I would still fall into bed every night feeling this lack, this sense of something's missing. I wanted to read from Eccesiastes today, just a few scriptures. I'm going to be jumping around a little bit, so this isn't going to be consecutive in order here. I'm just going to be pulling up some scriptures for you from Eccesiastes, and then I'd like to finish with John chapter 10, verse 10 again, and really focus on the meaning of that and what Jesus was talking about. Solomon begins speaking in Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 1, saying, "Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher, utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. What does man gain from all of his labor at which he toils under the sun? Generations come and generations go, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun sets, and it hurries back to where it rises. The wind blows to the south and turns to the north. Round and round it goes, ever returning to its course. All streams flow into the sea, yet the sea is never full. To the place the streams come from, there they return again. All things are wearisome, more than one can say. The eye never has enough of seeing, nor the ear its fill of hearing. What has been will be again, and what has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. No one can say, 'Look, there is something new. It has already been done long ago.'" And I'm going to skip down to chapter 2, starting in verse 1. "I thought in my heart, 'Come now, I will test you with pleasure to find out what is good.' But that also proved to be meaningless. 'Laughter,' I said, 'is foolish. And what does pleasure accomplish? I tried cheering myself with wine and embracing folly, my mind still guiding me with wisdom. I wanted to see what was worthwhile for men to do under heaven during the few days of their lives. I undertook great projects. I built houses for myself and planted vineyards. I made gardens and parks and planted all kinds of fruit trees in them. I made reservoirs to water groves of flourishing trees. I bought male and female slaves and had other slaves who were born in my house. I also owned more herds and flocks than anyone in Jerusalem before me. I amassed silver and gold for myself, and the treasure of kings and provinces. I acquired men and women singers and a harem as well, the delights of the heart of man. I became greater by far than anyone in Jerusalem before me. In all this my wisdom stayed with me, and I denied myself nothing my eyes desired. I refused my heart no pleasure. My heart took delight in all my work, and this was the reward of my labor. Yet when I surveyed all that my hands had done and what I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless, a chasing after the wind, and nothing was gained under the sun." Okay, and then it goes on here, let me see, in verse 24. Oh yeah. "A man can do nothing better than to eat and drink and find satisfaction in his work. This too, I see, is from the hand of God. For without him, who can eat or find enjoyment? To the man who pleases God, God gives wisdom and knowledge and happiness, but to the sinner he gives the task of gathering up and storing wealth, only to hand it over to the one who pleases God." And then we go on here. Let me see, chapter 4, verse 6. "Better one handful with tranquility than 2 handfuls with toil and a chasing after the wind. Again, I saw something meaningless under the sun. There was a man all alone. He had neither son nor brother. There was no end to his toil. Yet his eyes were not content with his wealth. 'For whom am I toiling?' he asked, 'and why am I depriving myself of enjoyment? This too is meaningless, a miserable business.'" Let me see here. Okay, over in chapter 5, in verse 8. "If you see the poor oppressed in a district and justice and rights denied, do not be surprised at such things. For one official is eyed by a higher one, and over them both are others higher still. The increase from the land is taken by all, and the king himself profits from the fields. Listen to verse 10. Whoever loves money never has money enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with his income. This too is meaningless. As goods increase, so do those who consume them. And what benefit are they to the owner except to feast his eyes on? Down in verse 15, it says, naked a man comes from his mother's womb, and as he comes, so he departs, and he takes nothing from his labor that he can carry in his hand. This too is a grievous evil. As a man comes, so he departs. And what does he gain, since he toils for the wind? All his days he eats in darkness, with great frustration, affliction, and anger. Let's see here. And then at the end here, Solomon goes on to say in chapter 12, verse 7, and the dust returns to the ground it came from, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher. Everything is meaningless. And it says here that now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. All right, I wanted to read you, those are just some excerpts from Eccesiastes. There's a lot of things that you could read on your own that I encourage you to read. I believe the Lord had Solomon write that book to let us know that whatever we try and find satisfaction in life, whether it's your personal wealth, your home, your marriage, your children, even though all these things are temporary blessings from God, okay? He does bless us with those things. Even at the end of a day, okay, when we fall into bed at night, there's still this emptiness. There's still this feeling of, well, what if I died tomorrow? Who does this go to? And is what I'm toiling for really, does it really matter? When Jesus came and he left everything for us because he was so in love with us, he told us, I came that you would have life and have it to the full. And what Jesus meant by that was your unique, personal, intimate fellowship with him every day. Not just a quality of life that he would give you. In other words, these prosperity teachers will tell you that quality life is your best life now, houses, money, fame, and fortune. This is what these prosperity teachers are telling you life is. Jesus is your life. He himself is your inheritance and is your life. As a matter of fact, in the Song of Solomon, it says, God's desire is for me. Not what I do, what I can give him. And he came to be loved for himself. He came himself to be the fulfillment of what you're thirsting for. Everything that your heart has ever dreamt that it's longed for cannot be found in a paycheck, cannot be found in a position in your career. Because once you reach that goal, let's just say you get a promotion or you get that amount in your paycheck that you're waiting for. Do you know it'll always be something else? That will get old and it'll be something else that your heart is hungering for. It'll never be enough. Like the Lord told the woman at the well, you drink this water, you'll thirst again. If you drink the water I give you, you'll never thirst again. John chapter 10, verse 10, I came that you would have life and have it to the full. And once you taste his love and you start having personal interaction with him, your heart will begin to feel a satisfaction. You'll finally say, this is why I'm here. The scriptures say all things were made by him and for him, and that includes you. He didn't make you, okay, for the things of this world. And as much as you love your marriage, your children, the blessings God has given you with other people, your home, your career, please don't misunderstand me. They are blessings from God, but they are not him. They were never meant to take his place. The Lord showed Solomon, okay, during the time when he wrote the book of Eccesiastes, that Solomon could have everything his heart desired. He denied himself nothing that he wanted. And at the end of the day, he fell into bed every night saying, it's a meaningless chasing after the wind. Jesus is he is the love of our life. He's the satisfaction of our hearts. I came, he said, that you would have life and have it to the full. Everything else will leave you thirsting over and over and over again. So I encourage you that if you're feeling any kind of melancholy in your heart lately, that you've got it all, you're doing it all, you're succeeding, and maybe you've got a nice paycheck in the bank, but somehow you fall into bed every night and there's something missing. I think you're missing out on that personal fellowship with Jesus because only he satisfies. And all these prosperity gospels out there that tell you that if you achieve and you own and you do and you have, you'll be happy. Obviously, they haven't read the book of Eccesiastes. If they read the book of Eccesiastes, they would know that none of those things they're preaching to you in that prosperity gospel would fill the deepest thirst of your heart. Only Jesus came that you would have life and have it to the full, and he himself is your life. God bless you today.